This is what I was honestly expecting. I think that Ornn is such a strong pick in the current meta. If you're playing a lot of solo queue, this is one of those tanks that you're actually scared of in the early levels. Ornn is someone who can just straight up beat a lot of carries in lane, who does have solo kill potential, especially if you are going to go Spellbook and take the Ignite. That can be pretty dangerous. It is incredible engage. And it's also very difficult sometimes now when you're looking at a comp like this for MF to be able to get a clean ultimate off, right? Because there's no Braum to actually block out an Ornn ulti to actually prevent some of this engage. So that is something that you can use for the long range engage to deny the opportunity for Kobbe to set up for that fully channeled ult. That being said, really good scaling on the side of TSM. The Zilean coming through here for Bjergsen. This is going to be a tremendous amount of wave clear. And also, a lot of kind of support here for Kobbe, who is going to be their main consistent damage dealer when you look at these team fights.
And I'm still remembering games where Bjergsen was able to take this Zilean to the late game, have 2 or 3 ultimates over the course of a drawn-out team fight. The man knows his way around this champion. It's always fun to see just how close him and his teammates can get to dying before he knows, okay, this is when we actually need the ultimate. So we'll see how that works up against Jensen's Orianna here. We haven't seen a lot of Zilean recently, so this will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, career for Bjergsen on Zilean, 24 games played, 79.2% win rate.
That's pretty high.
Almost a 10 KDA, 9.9. So he has a damn good Zilean. Jensen, though, he's on his career most played, I do believe, with the Orianna. This is a guy who is really reputed for being able to set up his own shockwaves, for being able to make those individual plays on Orianna. But this is a game where he's not even going to need to, where you have the Rakan, you have the J4, easy ball control and setup with that to engage the fights. And a lot of this, I think, you were right on the money when you're talking about the timing of Zilean ultimates, the timing of cooldowns. That is so critical because there is so much CC between the Rakan, between the J4, as well as this Ornn, that if you mistime your ultimate, if you wait too late, you can be CC'd up. Your teammates can go down in that burst very, very easily.
And working on this bottom lane too, both top laners have the ability to call in long-range ultimates. The Gangplank, of course, being global. The junglers, both powerful level 3 gankers. Mid laners on champions that they've played so many times before. This game has all the elements I'm looking at to be a real awesome way to cap off this first week here of LCS Spring 2020. Plus, it's Doublelift and Core JJ, our most reputable bot lane, the one that everybody just always has on this tier above everyone else, playing Xayah Rakan. This isn't a Tahm Kench lane. A lot of people, I am one of those people, it's me, I'm people, does not like Tahm Kench.
You are people, that's true.
He makes everything slow. He pumps the brakes too much. There's not even a gas pedal in his car when
You're
he's
not
driving.
in the Twitch chat spamming on bench with Kench?
Yeah, I just take the out of it and put him right back on the bench. Xayah Rakan is so much more fun to see because of the playmaking, because of the opportunity to shine as a bot lane duo.
It's that playmaking, right? It's the agency to create things, to make things happen, where I think you see the truly great players shine, right? And that is why we've seen Core JJ as an MVP, as a guy who can make things happen for the team, who can be that primary engage and can be such an electric player. So this is very, very exciting. And I've got to say, it's going to be really fun to watch this 2v2 on the bottom side. Doublelift is a guy who is incredibly confident, right? And when people were asking him about who he thought the top bot lanes were actually in the league, he pointed to Sven, he pointed to Kodisan. I have not heard him mention Kobbe whatsoever. So this is something where I think if you're Kobbe and you're coming into this league, you want to prove that you are going to be competing at the very top. And the best way to do that, take down Doublelift and Core JJ.
If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And what better test than these two guys right here, bottom side.
Double MVP bot lane.
Yeah, Biofrost just hanging out here inside the brush. Top side, you can see Broken Blade getting pretty aggressive onto Impact early on in this lane. Grasp of the Undying on the Gangplank makes him so very effective at extended trade.
It really does. And Impact, he is actually starting Spellbook, so your early laning is weaker. This ward has not yet spotted Surenfire, and Broken Blade could be in trouble. He's level 1.
Broken Blade just getting level 2. Step backwards so he does not get knocked up by the Surenfire combo. He still takes a little bit of damage there, but keeps all summoner spells intact, and honestly, he's in good shape.
Yeah, that was great. Being able to actually be in range for the experience, level up, made him quite safe, and then the fact that he had the little sidestep on the knockup, guaranteed nothing was going to come from that. And now it's Dardoch's turn down here on the bottom side. Here they go.
There it is. Doublelift going to be the one who gets jumped on Kobbe, putting down some damage. Doublelift's going to be ignited. Seeing if they can bring Dardoch in here to finish it off. The CC is down and Doublelift is gone. First blood, TSM.
Biofrost just having a great engage there, despite the fact that Doublelift actually flashed. it seemed like the Zenith Blade had already connected, so he was able to actually follow after him, and heal plus Guardian, not enough to keep him safe there. I'm gonna watch this one more time. We'll see, was the flash just a little bit too late, I think. Yeah, so flash Zenith Blade, he does get the flash to respawn, but once that Zenith Blade has connected, he will follow you through that summoner, and as soon as that happened, that was really gonna be it. Biofrost held onto his stun until Dardoch is in range, maximizing the damage there. Kabe dropping the heal for the speed up to be able to get in range too, and it's a repeat gank.
Dardoch's right back down here, but a TP is going to be coming in. It's going to be a bloodbath. Kabe is going to be taking low. Doublelift as well. Doublelift is gone. Core JJ, half HP. Team Liquid looking to find some sort of return fire here. Dardoch very nicely timed on the rappel. Has to be careful though. Looking to smite the crab, flashing away, staying alive. And TSM, 2 kills. Doublelift, 2 deaths.
I mean, if you're on the Dardoch hype train, this is what you have signed up for. This is what you want to see. The aggressive, dominant early jungler is what TSM have been wanting, and they're getting that. 2 early kills down on that bottom side before his first base. That is incredible to see. And this one was even more costly for TL, as Doublelift expended his teleport to get back to lane, and then out of the brush, here's Biofrost coming from behind you, is Dardoch, who had just had great pathing to actually sneak around outside of vision, caught them completely by surprise. So even with the impact teleport, there's actually nothing to really help out there. And I've got to throw a little bit of criticism Impact's way, who could have actually teleported to that river ward and maybe made a bigger impact, because he was a little bit late to actually join that play as a result of the TP placement. But Broken Blade, soaking up the experience, soaking up that CS on the top side. It's level 5 to level 3 in the top lane, as Impact does just ding 4, but that's a significant lane advantage, and he has TP, so he's sitting pretty.
Schernfire going to be looking for this top lane here yet again. Flash followed by flash, but Schernfire will not manage to get the follow knock up there. So that means Broken Blade again just walks away.
Yeah, that was the attempted flag and drag, trying to redirect the knock up with the flash once Broken Blade had done that, but not quite on target, not able to knock him up. And like I said, Broken Blade had TP advantage because he didn't have to go down to that bottom side, so he's going to TP right back in. He's now being protected by Dardoch. He has the Sheen, so Impact in a little bit of trouble here. You know, he's going to be at a pretty significant lane disadvantage.
Dardoch also having the Dark Seal in inventory with a 2-0 start. He's feeling confident. He's saying, all right, let's get some more stacks. Let's get some free AP. That item becomes incredibly cost efficient. If you manage to get stacks on it, it's worth a lot more money than the 350 you pay for it. So he's counting on continuing to snowball this early lead here. Schernfire just continuing to farm up now, has only invested into the top side so far, did manage to get a summoner spell, but nothing more, and that's why TSM is up to a 1,000 gold lead here early on mid lane. The farm is even, bottom side, the farm's pretty much even. You can see 3 Dorian's Blades on Kabe for this misfortune, something that sort of became popular here again within the recent months. 80 carries stacking a few of those, makes you very powerful.
Yeah, it makes you very powerful in lane. You know, it is kind of the MF Classic. This is one of the champions that people love this build most on. It's not just about, you know, the added damage. It's about how damn tanky you get, because there's a lot of health when you start stacking up these orange blades, and it becomes, you know, very difficult to actually just hard engage and burst down MF, even though she doesn't have a move block that's going to dash out of there or anything. You have a tremendous amount of lifesteal to stay healthy. It's just really investing heavily into this laning phase, and we'll see if Schernfire wants to try to steal this. He can blast cone in for the potential smite.
Pulling it away just to make sure it stays out of his range, and TSM will successfully secure the first Drake of the game for themselves, just shy of 7 minutes in. Ocean Drake under their belt, and Cloud will be number 2 that spawns about 5 minutes from now.
Yeah, Ocean always feels so nice having that in-combat regen. You know, it is something that I think, you know, that affects the top lane most if you're going to be playing this isolated lane, and you are a tank, right? You're relatively low consistent damage when you are Impact on this Ornn, so all of a sudden having that additional HP that you have to work through because of that Ocean Dragon makes it really hard to ever threaten a kill onto the GP.
Bjergsen will just keep farming up here in the mid lane on the Zilean, not looking to get too violent with his lane opponent early on. Happy to just let this one scale towards the late game, when he'll have the ability to keep everyone revived constantly. The ultimate on Zilean, such a dangerously low cooldown later on in the game, especially if they do manage to get the Cloud Drake here that spawns next. Yeah. That only is going to make it more of a nightmare for Team Liquid to find these picks.
And you've got to know TSM is going to have a TP TP advantage, right? They have that TP in their mid lane. Yes, Doublelift can have a TP to answer a side lane, but you don't want your AD carry just sitting in the side lane, you know, farming it out against the Zillion. Whereas Jensen had to take the cleanse because he's up against the Elise, and if you do not take cleanse, it's such an easy setup for Zillion. You slow him down, double bomb into Cocoon, you're probably just dead. So Jensen feeling he needed that phase rush cleanse is going to be down teleport as a result.
Top side, TSM has rotated their bottom lane here into the top lane instead. And one thing I do want to point out, I want to give praise to Team Liquid. We've been praising TSM a lot for this early game, as we should, because they played it well. But look at the bottom lane CS. Despite the fact that he's the only one who's died in this game, Doublelift was up almost 20 farm before TSM rotated top to catch that wave. He is doing a great job at not letting that bad early game affect him.
Yeah, and one of the things that we haven't touched on yet is, despite the fact they got a lot of work down on the bottom side, none of that gold actually really went heavily into Kabe's pockets, right? He has 2 assists. That's not a big deal as far as the gold injection goes. It's really helped Dardoch out more, who is going to be the one who can hopefully snowball the game for TSM. And Doublelift, he's just working straight towards Essence Reaver. He could actually be going a different direction here as he has that dagger, but I am going to guess he's still just going to rush straight towards that Essence Reaver. And Kabe, you know, his first item is going to be quite delayed because he invested into the triple Dorms.
Biofrost just continuing to walk forward, always threaten the possibility of that engage. The strength of Leona, so powerful right now in the current state of the game, as we're going to see TSM start up the Rift Herald, managing to get their bottom lane into the top side, have everybody around here. It's a 5-man take. Getting one out of the books, Clutch Gaming from last year, making sure the whole team's ready to go. Eyeball needs one more hit to make sure they secure that one, and there you go. Dardoch will pick it up. CoreJJ looking for the opportunity here. It's Impact looking to find the ulti. Dardoch has already flashed away. CoreJJ can't get in range in time. Bjergsen tossing a couple bombs over the wall. Bjergsen just decides, all right, we're not going to risk anything here. Flashes over the wall to get out of the pit.
Yeah, so it does cost them a couple summoners, and we'll see how much gold they're going to be able to cash in with that Rift Herald. You know, if they could take a turret, that would be incredible. All of the turrets are full health, though, for TL, essentially. No plate's actually been knocked down, so it is unlikely, but should be some more gold in their pockets. And Dardoch has this early completed jungle item. He's going to be out on the map looking to get something done here.
Yeah, 4 minutes into this game, TL had a 1,000. We're at a 1,000 gold deficit. Now 10 minutes into the game, it's only a 500 gold deficit, so they're doing a good job of not only just stopping that bleeding, but making sure that TSM can't keep finding anything.
And this is always one of the things that people talk about with TL, is that all of their laners are so good, they often just beat you by out-CSing you. They often just beat you by creating these, you know, incremental advantages here and there by being more efficient. And that is one of the things that makes it really, really tough to kind of cement a huge advantage against them, as they are looking for Doublelift. Remember, he has no ultimate. Biofrost did force that, so if he shows up here, he's probably in trouble, but he will walk it out.
That time the flash is on time. Gets away from the Zenith Blade. Keep your eyes on Dardoch, though. His hand's still glowing with the purple, means Shelly is ready to summon. 11 minutes into the game means there's still 3 minutes of plate timers left, so he's not particularly in any rush to use it. He's still got it under his belt for a little bit over 2 more minutes. We'll see where TSM wants to drop.
I mean, I think they want to try to crack this top lane turret, right? You know, you send a lot of members up there. It's now down to 3 plates. Shelly will get you 2, so if you can get any sort of a kill, that will set you up very, very well for that. Jensen also going for a bit of a new age build. This is something that's gaining a lot of popularity. Grabbing the Super Soaker here without actually playing Glacial Augment. He has that early Hextech GLP. People are just taking this kind of in lieu of Ludens, right? It is less burst, it is kind of less damage there, but it gives you a lot more utility. And when used, especially in combination with the Phase Rush, it gives you a lot of control in these team fights, right? You're slowing your opponent down, you're speeding yourself up with the Phase Rush, and you can sometimes really kind of outmaneuver them and set yourself up for your own shockwave. Set yourself up for your own kind of fighting gauge a little bit better than you could with something.
And when you've got a carry on your team like Doublelift, you know you're going to have damage. You don't need the little bit of extra edge that a Ludens would give you over a GLP in particular. If you look at the builds too, Shermfire going with the Warrior on the Jarvan, going for the Chad build, wants to make sure when he goes into gank you, somebody's going to die.
Yeah, I mean, you have that pure tank from Impact, the Ornn up on that top side. You know, Rakan is going to be building probably a fairly tanky build. It's just going to be this lane swap here, looking like a trade of towers. Impact just trying to clear out as much of the wave as he can. He wants to just delay this. And, you know, he is going to be able to delay it a little bit, but the Rift Herald is going to come down, and this will be turret going their way. They should have this before TL can crack it up on the top side. but TL will be able to trade that top lane turret. The question is just, how far can TSM go? They are just going to continue walking this down, and we see Jensen and Surenfire making their way over from mid lane, but they're at least going to get another charge here out of Shelly.
And plates are still up. That's great for getting money, but it means they do take so much longer to tear down. So you're going to have TL members up there for a while now. Shelly will get that second charge off. TSM, so many people still around this bottom half of the map.
Yeah, excuse me, and made a little bit of a liar out of myself. I mean, they didn't actually finish off that top lane turret. They will eventually, as Doublelift does TP back up after that Essence Reaver buy, and should be able to grab the solo turret gold, which again, that's something you always have to kind of take into consideration. TSM do get first turret, but that gold is actually split between 4 members who are down there, or 3 members who are down there, whereas Doublelift is going to get all of this in his own pockets, which is almost always more effective. It is just better to have completed items, so funneling all the gold into one carry is going to get you more bang for your buck.
That carry, Essence Reaver up and running, has the free boots and inventory from the inspiration tree. So often you see 80 carries. Free boots and biscuits is just such a good deal. A lot of 80 carries always want to go for it. Doublelift has that ready to go, so he's going to be a threat in these team fights if we get to see a bigger fight break out. You've got the Iceborne Gauntlet already completed on Impact. There's a lot of physical damage coming out from both the MF and the Gangplank. And one thing that's also nice that I want to point out, because on the first day we saw some shenanigans happening where Ornn was in the game and his teammates wouldn't buy the stuff he could upgrade. That is a problem when you're playing with a champion like Senna who wants to buy other types of items. But when you've got a traditional marksman on your team and they get an Infinity Edge, it's just so easy. Upgrade that, upgrade the items for the mid laner as well, and have those upgrades on the carries where they really need to be.
Yeah, and I want to see, how quickly these guys are actually going to rush towards those items, because we have seen Ornn come out, notably from CLG, where the carries didn't actually then have Ornn upgradable items, right? So you weren't able to get that value. I am assuming that Doublelift will probably just go towards an IE second, which is going to be that first upgrade, and then you could look for something like a Death Cap on Jensen.
Biofrost, he's charmed up, he's bursted down. Jensen catching him out and making sure Team Liquid gets a kill.
There's that play, right? He sets himself up with that Hextech GLP, slowing him down to guarantee the Shockwave will land. Biofrost had no flash, so Jensen's just kind of alley-ooping to himself on that one and is able to grab a kill for himself. Very well done.
Broken Blade continuing to just maintain control on this side lane, though. A Gangplank with a completed Trinity Force isn't too worried about anything Ornn's going to do to him, so he'll be comfortably hanging out here until somebody else from Team Liquid has to come down and stop him. Catalyst of Aeons up on Impact will provide a little bit more sustainability. Jensen will just continue shoving up mid lane here as well. Next Drake is spawning in 90 seconds. We are at the point of the game now where the Rift has been burned away by the Infernal Dragon, so that means those are all we're going to see from here on out. Both teams would love to grab that soul, but it is TSM who are already 2 of those 4 on the way.
Yep, and TL probably going to have to make their stand at the next one, right? We talked about that in the previous game. That is generally the mark at which teams are no longer comfortable seeding those dragons, because if you let your opponents get the 3, 1 pick, 1 miss smite, 1 anything really, and they have soul for the rest of the game, right? And a lot of people feel that is generally lights out. So I am expecting TL to try to farm it out, try to get as prepared as possible, and look to reset in the next 15-20 seconds to try to go for that. They do have the opportunity to try to trade for a Herald or to try to take Herald first, but then you risk being late to that dragon fight, and that could be very dangerous.
And with the dragon coming up soon, with Herald being alive on the map, always important to do stopwatch check. Both supports have it, and Dardoch has it. So there is some aggro drop potential in these fights if you initiate onto the wrong person. Remember, if you're TL, you've also got to be extra respectful because of the fact that Bjergsen can always punish going too hard after one guy and not having sufficient follow-up for when the ulti is used. So that's one thing I'll be keeping track of a lot during this game. Drake in 20 seconds.
I mean, positioning for Kabe is so incredibly important, right? We really have to see him step up and play well, because if you misposition it at all, you are going to get engaged on by the Rakan, by the Ornn, and they kind of need to get a lot of damage from him out in the fight. They need him to have a really nice channeled MF ulti, which requires great positioning.
Impact gets himself CC'd, but yes, buffers the dash away so well. Bjergsen's going to be caught out there only by the GLP. Core JJ can't get in there with the quickness. Bjergsen doesn't even have to use the ulti. And with Rakan ult being such a powerful teamfight tool, TL is hesitant to take this fight and seem to be willing to concede it.
Yeah, they're just going to give it up. I think they don't think that they can win a fight without that Rakan engaged. And they very well may be right. So they kind of took their swing. It was at Bjergsen. Bjergsen just sped out of there. So now TL is going to try to trade for Rift Herald. That is where they are setting up. But I don't think they can really do this either, and they may be getting caught out.
Oh, Solar Flare finding its way onto a couple of people. Only going to grab the slow, though. Impact with the counterattack. There's your stasis for Biofrost. We're going to buy a little bit more time. Won't be hard CC'd, but will be exploded. It's Jensen grabbing the second kill of the game for his team.
Yeah, one-way trip for Biofrost when they are not able to follow up on that engage. He flashes forward, he looks for the kill. They couldn't do it. TL kited out using the Xayah ultimate. It's hard for TSM to chase through those feathers and look to try to punish and then turn around with that Ornn ultimate. There's no Braum to actually shut down that Ornn engage, so he is going to be really having a good time in this game.
Ornn and Xayah ultimates together are such powerful zone control and disengage. Unless all 5 people are on the same page and in range, it's just nearly impossible to ram your head into the wall harder.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to run through feathers and an Orianna bottle? It's probably not going to work out very well for you. So here this is one more time. Flash, ultimate comes down, but you'll see Jensen positions the ball forward. There's multiple feathers down there too, so it's a good stopwatch to deny the initial turnaround from Biofrost, but Leona is a one-way champion. The engage has to work, or that is what it looks like. You kind of slowly waddle away as you die, and unfortunately for him, that was the case here. Bjergsen, though, going to be passed off the blue buff, and TSM still in a great spot. They have 3 dragons, and they're going to be 1 away on Soul. They really have 4 chances, right? You know, Soul only goes away if TL takes 4, and they have 0 dragons right now. So TSM is going to have a lot of opportunities to get a potentially game-closing buff for this game.
And when you think about it in terms of raw time, this game has been being played for 19.5 minutes. Team Liquid is at a minimum 20 minutes away from a Dragon Soul, which means that's longer than the game's already been played from here till now. So it's quite a while. TSM feeling comfortable in that department at least. You can see Broken Blade working towards the second item here on the Gangplank. Finally, Kabe getting the first fully completed item done. It seems like Doublelift was done with the Essence Reaver miles ago. Rapid Fire Cannon now completed on that Xayah as well. Let's see what Kabe wants to go for next.
Yeah, so if that looked like a funny exhaust to you, that's Impact just actually cycling through the spellbook. He wanted his teleport back available, so that is why he expended that summoner, you know, kind of working his way through. Jensen, I'm assuming, will be going towards a death cap, and they do have Rift Herald, so they are going to actually drop that. I do believe they actually took it during the replay after killing off Biofrost, so I don't think that was really on screen, and should be able to knock down this mid lane turret here, get themselves some more gold back. Impact now at level 12, so he can access his own item upgrades. In the next subsequent levels, he can start to upgrade his teammates' stuff. So you want to see TL prepared for that. With Doublelift not going for the IE second, you want to see Death Cap probably coming out next for Jensen, so we can look to upgrade that.
And I love the Abyssal Mask upgrade for Ornn. The Ornn items are not all created equally. Some of them give better upgrades than others, and the Abyssal Mask is top tier in terms of the upgrade it provides.
Over 1,800 gold in added value to the item. That's absurd.
I don't know how that one is so much higher than all the other ones, but upgrading Abyssal Mask is pretty much a priority for Ornn.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy when you think about that. You know, with the combination, depending on how heavily you're going to value the mana, Iceborne isn't as good there, you know, as far as the stat efficiency. But even just with those two, you know, you're still getting like a good 2,500 plus gold worth of value. Sunfire and Abyssal are the 2 best by a lot as far as the item efficiency when you are getting those upgrades as far as the ones Ornn would want to get. But
Sunfire also doesn't have the mana part to it that you have to kind of put a little asterisk over and say, it's not really a combat stat.
Yeah, and I mean, when you have an Abyssal already, probably not having too many mana problems on the Ornn, but it is Death Cap second for Jensen, so you love to see that. At 13, that can be upgraded, get the additional AP there. And that is kind of just a hidden value, right? So while the scoreboard will tell you gold is basically dead even, when you're adding a good 2,500 gold from the Ornn items onto Impact, and you get another level, you add another 1,000 or so for the Death Cap, that starts to become, you know, a little bit of a lie.
750 health and 100 magic resist in a single item slot.
It's literally a Giant's Belt and a Negatron. You get extra when you upgrade that item.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But that's a really good sign here for Team Liquid, who are ready to fight for another Drake. Biofrost going to lose a little bit of HP, but not too worried here just yet. TSM are 200 gold ahead of their opponents and would love to get a 22-minute Infernal Soul right here.
And basically every single summoner is available. Biofrost missing Flash, but everyone else has everything ready to go. This is going to be an explosive fight.
There it comes. The Ornn Horn is sounded. Broken Blade going to be the target there at the start. Dardoch going into the repel. Bjergsen throwing down some bombs, keeping Team Liquid at bay, and the Infernal Drake is started up. This could be a moment where Schernfire has to be a hero here for his team. TSM with control over the Drake for now. Gangplank ultimate going to be used, zoning everybody away. Biofrost going to be zoning too. Dardoch has to split away from the Drake. It's going to be taken very, very low. Bjergsen's going to be shut down. Team Liquid able to find themselves a fight here so far. Dardoch getting out of the way with the repel, seeing if there's anything else he's able to do. Kabe's able to burst him low. Schernfire's going to be taken very low, not quite able to grab it, but Team Liquid, thanks to Jensen, will get that Drake. Still 4 alive on the side of TSM. They have only lost their mid laner. Kabe's thrown up into the air. CoreJJ says Bjerg won't die alone as Biofrost and Broken Blade try to disengage. It's a 2 for 2, and critically, it's Team Liquid who prevent the soul.
That was so close. Schernfire had to smite for health. He was gonna actually die there, and he wasn't, able to actually save his smite to secure this. So TSM decided to try to rush this down, but the patience actually gets, reset. The dragon leashes, and you see CoreJJ up engaging from the top side of your screen. Kabe gets a very good ultimate off, and we see that Doublelift gets absolutely burst down by Kabe plus Broken Blade. Then the Shockwave coming through, nice repel from Dardoch. A lot of that damage is being avoided, but here's this critical part of the fight. Kabe actually flashes forward to try to burst down Schernfire and secure them the dragon. He smites for health, but Jensen has just enough damage to actually finish it off before Dardoch can come through and smite that. So that was incredibly close. And had it been managed just a tiny little bit better, maybe the dragon doesn't reset and they can finish. Maybe they're able to actually have Dardoch in position to finish that off with a smite. But the narrowest of margins, getting TL that dragon and keeping the soul out of TSM's hands.
And before I hear some Bronze 2 analysis from the Twitch chat, I want to point out that Bjergsen didn't forget to use his ult there. Bjergsen was chain CC'd, exactly as you mentioned earlier on in the game, from 100 to 0. There was never the opportunity to press R. You could be pressing it the entire time, it's not going off. And that was what enabled them to just take control of that fight enough to wrest control of that Drake away.
And it's such a big engage from CoreJJ, right? He was able to actually find that angle from the top side of the fight. Broken Blade had already used his ulti to try to zone out Jensen and Doublelift. And to be fair to TSM, they had a great first punch of their own, taking down Doublelift almost immediately. But Jensen was able to avoid so much of the damage and was so big throughout that fight. He is now sitting 4-0 with the upgraded death cap. He is very far ahead of the curve, a couple thousand gold ahead of Bjergsen, his lane opponent, and he's going to have a mighty amount of AP with that Rabadon's Death Crown.
So the Death Crown itself gives 175. Dardoch's in a really bad spot right now. He'll look to repel away, but in the time it takes the Shockwave to animate, Doublelift blows him up. And Team Liquid are now in a spot where they're wanting to push down the mid lane. We'll see if TSM can manage to defend this tier 2. The Demolish not able to be procced there, as Team Liquid will hang back here a little bit further, but it was a nice pick from TL.
Yeah, it really was. And Broken Blade quietly also getting very, very strong here. He is going for this really powerful late game build, working towards what is very likely the IE as his third item, and he's already on 40% CDR. It's a very AD heavy build, which can allow you to take over a fight with one really good barrel, right? And we saw just how much damage he actually got down on Jensen in that mid lane, with one barrel himself there. So there are lots of ways for TSM to come back into this and win the subsequent fights. You land one big barrel chain with Biofrost having an ultimate layered on top of that, GP ult gets dropped, that person could just be dead. And the Leona engage itself becomes much more dangerous as you get a lot of AP onto the Zillion, because that can be a Leona diving in with that bomb on top of her head that is going to deal 400 plus damage to your opponents.
That, plus the sunlight also that you're going to be getting from it, from the fact that her Eclipse is going to pop off, her Aftershock's going to be popping off, MF ult all over the place. Big team fight potential here from both of these sides. And with this game still being within 2,000 gold, this is exactly what I was hoping for from TL versus TSM. This is what I wanted to see. Drake in 1 minute. I feel like the Drakes, even though there's only a 1 minute difference from what they are between what they were, 5 and 6, it just feels so much more frequent. And for TL, that's stressful because every single one of these you cannot afford to give away.
Yeah, I also got to say there's got to be a little bit of stress being induced on the TSM side here too, because they put a lot of time into the early game and securing these dragons and done such a great job of that. That last one is going to be, riding on you a little bit, feeling you probably got a little bit unlucky to not actually get it, that it goes over to, an Orianna Q or whatever. So TSM really going to be wanting to secure this next Dragon, because the scaling is very, very strong on TL. Their engage is incredibly reliable, and the Ornn upgrades are all coming through, right? You see all of these Ornn upgrades across the table now. Molten Edge is there, the Rabadon's Death Crown, the Black Cleaver is ready to be upgraded on the next level too. So TL is becoming very, very strong.
Broken Blade will try to continue to have a little bit of poke here with those barrels. TL are the ones with control over the bottom side of the river. They'll be the ones to rotate down there first. Impact going to be taking some damage. Biofrost going in on him, but it's Bio who's now going to be mindful of where his health bar lies. He's taken down to about 1/3. Broken Blade. That's a pretty important chunk going through. Biofrost flashing away from the second part of the Ornn ulti, and with that, TL wins the fight hard enough to take the Drake.
Yeah, it's going to be their Dragon. Biofrost has to flash out, which means his effectiveness in the next fight is going to be a lot lower. Broken Blade got very low there too. It wasn't engaged, that kind of was a lot of the damage going into Impact, and Impact got relatively low, but this guy is very, very tanky on the Ornn at this point in the game, working towards what looks like a Warmog, so he can just walk forward, soak up a lot of the poke, and just kind of shrug it off.
And when we were talking earlier about the Ornn item efficiency, the average bonus of an Ornn item is around 1,000 gold. So when you look at the fact that this game is 2,500 apart, but then you look at the fact that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items, that's 5,000 more gold. It feels more like a 7,000 gold deficit for TSM, and that's why these fights look like that one just did.
Yeah, and it is very scary, right? Because the individual dragons are worth so much less than they used to be. Previously, you got 10% AD AP.
Dardoch. He repels up in time to avoid the knockup.
We'll look at Core on the side.
Core JJ looking for the opportunity to go for the quickness here. Fires off that vision plant. The Scryer will see where TSM is escaping to. Team Liquid, they took some damage to their own health bars, so they don't want to chase this down super hard. But TSM, got to be careful.
They just want mid lane control. So that is why we have Jensen and Core JJ standing in between their opponents, and Doublets is charging down mid lane. So TSM are going to lose their 2-2 mid, maybe even more. That's why we're seeing a teleport back to the base here, as Bjergsen wanted to try to defend, even more damage going their way. But, to step back to that Infernal point really quickly, in last season, it was 10% AD AP for one Infernal. Now it's 4, right? So the individual dragons aren't doing much for TSM unless they actually complete that 4 dragon soul and grab themselves the Infernal buff, which is really, really powerful. But until they get that, well, it doesn't really mean that much.
Well, Baron's alive, Drake is not. That's going to be the state of the game here for the next 3 minutes. So you can see the teams focusing their efforts on this northern half of Summoner's Rift. Doublelift will be forced to flash away, because if you manage to get hit by that slow, the Super Soaker's following up, the rest of Team Liquid's following up, and you're dead.
Yeah, he got tagged by the Super Soaker slows. You know that more damage is going to be coming through. If you repel there's nothing to repel to, so you just die. So Hextech GLP used very well, forces a flash off Dardoch. That is now no flash on your support, no flash on your jungler, and it's a tough position. They're just going to start this up. They know that Broken Blade was down on the bottom side. They at least want Broken Blade's teleport, but I think they just have Baron. It's gone.
They know Broken Blade's bottom. They know Dardoch's back in the base. He's pretty scared of going out anywhere when you don't have the flash like that. Very nice take on that there coming out from CL. 3,500 gold ahead of TSM. The bottom side turret will fall. Broken Blade will at least take that tier 2. But TSM now have to deal with a TL that's wearing purple.
Yeah, the gold lead is going to extend, and bad news gets worse when you realize the Baron buff should still be active right when the dragon spawns. So if a fight were to break out right around that, or even the posturing for vision for this next Infernal, that gets dangerous, right? And while one Infernal isn't the biggest of deals, it's only that 4% ADAP, if TL grabs a third, they're now getting a lot of bonus damage. And you can see Broken Blade stacking cloaks. So you got cloak on cloak on cloak. He's sitting at 100% crit. So
this is why it was nerfed.
This is cross your fingers for the barrel on the carries, right? You're hoping to land a big crit there, drop the ultimate for the true damage in that center with the upgrade from your Galleons, and be able to have enough damage to just knock someone out of the fight and win a fight off that. And we'll see if Broken Blade can pull it off.
They're going to need something like that. The game has felt like it's just slowly but steadily creeping more into Team Liquid's favor as we've moved on. Dardoch did sell the Dark Seal, was not able to snowball the game any further after those good first kills that he got on the bottom lane. And TL will now push up into the bottom side. They'll take down that next tier 2 turret. Only one left standing for the side of TSM, and that's in top lane. 64 seconds until Infernal spawn.
TL has just played such a stable game, right? Dardoch had 2 kills at what? 4 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. Has not been able to actually, get anything more with this. And Now you have this Warmog Zorn just going to be chilling here, buffing up these minions. You can hit him as much as you want. If you can't kill him off, he's just going to heal right back up, and he's got 4,000 health, so good luck.
There's your barrel, by the way. That was one barrel hitting Doublelift with the cloak build, making sure that he's very respectful of the damage coming out from TSM.
Yeah, I mean, that's the combo, because you have that bonus damage on the center of your ultimate with that true damage. With Death's Daughter, I do believe that upgrade is called. And if you actually land the barrel, you drop the ult right on their head, that is most of someone's health, right? So any follow-up on top of that can just be a kill, and that's what Broken Blade is looking for, because he feels these fights going more and more in TL's favor, and they know they need an X Factor. They need a great engage from Biofrost or an incredible ultimate from Kobbe. It's got to be something, and someone from TSM needs to step up and make it happen, or this is going to be TL's game.
Kobbe just now hitting 3 big completed items. Doublelift sitting on 4.5 of those as the Drake falls for Team Liquid. And what was a 3-0 Drake game has now put both teams at soul point.
Yeah.
TSM now feeling the same pressure that you've got to get the next one.
And you'd way rather have 3 Infernals late into the game, right? You know, it's just more effective when you have this much flat AD and AP. That triple Infernal is incredibly valuable, and TL going to walk it in, get an uncontested inhibitor here. They can head right down towards bot lane. The Baron buff has expired, thankfully for TSM, as they should be able to wave through this no problem.
And the question for TSM now becomes, how much are you willing to give up? Where do you draw the line? Where do you fight? Because TL just showed they can walk into the base and take something in 5 seconds.
Yeah, and I think you really cannot afford to give up much more than they have, right? Losing 1 inhibitor is okay. That was to the Baron buff. They know that's now expired, so they have confidence in their wave clear, but this is going to be the Ornn also zone him off the turret.
Impact starting it up. Biofrost thrown up into the air, but he's the only one. Poor JJ half HP. Jensen going to be walking out now as well. Broken Blade looking to find those barrels. Nice sidestep coming out from Team Liquid. Poor JJ below half, looking to find some sort of damage. Doublelift goes after Kobbe. Manages to scare him back, and they get the ulti out of Bjergsen.
Yeah, they get both summoners off Kobbe and the Zillion ultimate there. That is huge for TL as Doublelift step forward, forcing those major cooldowns. I think TL are just going to go for the throw here, going to look for the second inhibitor, as they know those key cooldowns are missing.
Impact getting a knock up onto Bjergsen. Zillion ulti 3/4 of the way back up already. Schernfire doing a good job buffering away from the CC. Biofrost nearly going to be killed right here, down to 5% HP, but Kobbe with a good ulti keeping his support alive, keeping TL zoned off.
They will hold the line, but if you are TSM, you are now very nervous about this next dragon. This next dragon spawns in 3 minutes. Kobbe will not have his flash. And as the misfortune, going up against a Rakan with flash, a J4 with flash, and an Ornn with flash, good luck staying safe. That becomes very, very difficult. So TSM have got to get something going for themselves here, have got to establish vision control around that next dragon if they want to stave off the 4 consecutive Infernals and that Infernal Soul, which probably is just going to be lights out if TL get it.
And looking in the inventory of Core JJ, you can see the Shurelya's Reverie now complete for even more engage options. TL knows how hard they've been winning this game, and they know that all they need to be able to do is just find one person on TSM, get that pick, and the game is over. That could help enable that. We'll see if that ends up making a big difference here. As we are 2 minutes away from Infernal, we are 45 seconds away from Baron. TSM still contending with 1 inhibitor down there in the mid lane. They need that Wombo combo. They need Leona CC into an MF ult, into a big broken barrel, onto one of these carries, but it's just so hard to find.
It is really, really hard. And on the other side, there's such super powerful carries with Jensen and Doublelift that one misstep and you're just dead. Jensen has nearly 800 AP at this point. You know, with double large rod items plus the triple Infernal, he is insanely strong.
And one of the weaknesses of this cloak stacking build for Broken Blade, granted you can't do this build anymore because they're only 20% now anyway, but your item slots become a resource.
Yep.
Despite the fact that Broken Blade has 2,000 gold in inventory, if you don't have enough to just upgrade straight into the Infinity Edge or one of your other items, you can't use the gold.
Yep, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's an 800 gold cloak, and you need 3,400 for that Infinity Edge, right? So until he has the additional 2,600 gold, you're just going to be killing on that. And he is getting close to it. To his credit, he's at 2,400, but TL not going to wait. They are on the Baron.
Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and Baron is spawned right now. TL will be scared away from it by the Gangplank ulti. Impact trying to zone the rest of TSM away. Here comes the Ornn Horn! Biofrost Bifrost caught out. Damage continuing to pour through. Flash over the wall will keep the TSM support alive. But with him at such low HP, you have to wonder, can TSM stop it twice?
Yeah, I mean, I think the TSM are just saying we can't fight before IE. So Broken Blade stayed in the side lane to farm up the IE gold. He dropped the ultimate though, and now there's no flash on Biofrost, so it's up to Dardoch.
CoreJJ zoning everybody away. It's actually Double Lift who secures the Baron. Shermfire's nearly going to be killed. TSM looking at this. Maybe this is your opportunity. CoreJJ could be in a bad spot. Bjergsen looking to run away. Going to be taken very low. Make it rain coming down. Not going to find a slow onto anyone. Broken Blade continuing to walk out of this one. Infernal Drake critically. 20 seconds still left before it spawns. It gives these teams some time to reset, but Double Lift is already on his way to the bottom river, to the Scuttle Crab, to get ready and set up shop.
Yeah, that's the problem. TL are going to be the first ones there, so again, TSM is going to be having to face check into them with no flash on Biofrost. There's no one on TSM who can safely walk forward into these brushes, so it's all coming down to this. I think whoever wins this fight is going to have a stranglehold on the game.
This is Armageddon for these two teams, and Biofrost is not long for the world. He is gone. Impact barely going to be kept alive there. Shermfire also looking to walk away. Dardoch, just a sliver of HP remaining. Impact's got the CC. Team Liquid's got the fight. Broken Blade with a nice flash away, but Devilish goes on a killing spree. He'll get Bjergsen. Jensen grabs Dardoch, and with 4 dead on TSM, that has got to be the fight that wins TL this game.
Yeah, that's going to do it. They're not even going to grab the soul. They're just running it down mid lane with the Baron buff, knock down this inhib, and look for the end.
Broken Blade is either going to be the greatest 1v4 gangplank we've seen in years, or this is a Team Liquid win right here. Shermfire on the front line, the rest of the team right behind him. Broken Blade and Biofrost, nothing they can do, and Team Liquid will get that win.
Slow and steady was the key here for TL today. TSM had a great early game, got 3 early dragons, was able to get multiple kills down on that bottom side, but they could never get more. They could never extend the advantage, and TL always felt like, you know, they were kind of better prepared around those later dragon fights. But you've got to think, if you're TSM, you've got to be so frustrated with that early Infernal Dragon that actually got taken by Jensen. You know, that was the one where it was really close between the two teams, and it felt like TSM could have maybe got that. After that, it felt like it was all TL. They never even got close to those dragons. TL was completely dominating past that point.
And when you look at TSM historically, as an organization since the beginning of LCS, they're a team that was frequently in the same spot like what we saw TL, where even if they had their opponents get off to a good start against them, they would just say, it's okay, we can outscale, we're the better team. Fast forward to now, they need to do more. They need to continue snowballing these advantages and finding more in the mid game that we saw them not be able to do. And when you have Team Liquid playing the way that they did, utilizing Xayah and Ornn and just making it so, hey, if we don't want this fight, this fight's not happening. That's a good place to be in.
Yeah, but, you know, it's tough, right? Because both teams had good scaling. Both teams had reasons to think that they could be confident in the later stages. But, you know, TL showcasing why they are 4 times in a row the LCS champions, right? This team is so damn hard to beat in the late game. If you get them there with a decent chance in the game, they almost always win, right? You know, they're so good at setting up around objectives. They're so good at actually navigating these team fights. And we saw, you know, TSM go for a more aggressive look than what they had last time with some more engage from the Leona.